Merlin Hyman keeps close tabs on the government's green credentials. He's the chief executive of an outfit called Regen Southwest, which helps promote renewable energy projects. Welcome along. Is this the greenest government ever?
Well, I think it's a pretty mixed record, really. On some sides, if you look at renewable energy, some of the policy framework and what's been achieved is actually pretty good. But a lot of the messaging has been pretty confused, and coming from the Treasury or the Planning Department, from Mr Pickle's department, you've heard some pretty mixed messaging. And for companies who are thinking about investing millions or even billions of pounds into major projects or a whole range of projects, that kind of signalling is not really very helpful. So I think we've missed out a little bit on the opportunity to really pioneer in the renewable energy sector and to create a lot of jobs and opportunities because of that rather confused messaging that sometimes comes out.
Is there an appetite among the general public to pay for renewable energy, to pay the excess that you have to?
At the moment, we pay about £50 on our energy bills, of about £1,300 to incentivise the development of renewable energy. And I think most people, when I do spend a lot of time going out and talking to communities and talking in the media, I think most people see the fact that in an uncertain world, when we see things like the Ukraine crisis and Mr Putin threatening to turn off the tap on gas, that where we have some natural clean resources that we can generate our own energy locally from, that's pretty much common sense. And what we're seeing is the price of that coming down pretty rapidly. So in the Telegraph, I think just today, we saw an article suggesting that solar would soon be cheaper than fossil fuel sources.
OK, let's talk to you, Tessa. You're, a Lib Dem is in charge of energy policy. How are you greener than Molly from the Greens?
Well, I suppose we're greener because we've taken the power that we were given in having a Secretary of State running that particular department, and we've brought in some very green policies. And if you compare it with governments in the past, I don't think you can deny, if you look at just the few...
nuclear energy.
I think fracking's mad, absolutely mad. I mean, Mendix.
Well, the government doesn't.
No, I know.
You're part of the government.
Yes, of course I am. But, you know, I'm my voice, this whole thing of, you know, going hell-bent for fracking or whatever it was, David Cameron said, no way, absolutely
all right,
not.
Molly, are you greener than her?
I don't think it's a competition. We're going to sit here and score points off each other. But I do think it's a problem when Liberal Democrats won't take responsibility for government policy, because, I mean, if they think this government isn't living up to expectations, they should leave the coalition. We know I
think we should carry on trying to do the green... We've got the Green Deal, we could do it better, we've got the Green Investment
Bank. The Green Deal's been an absolute disaster. I think there's 30 schemes actually funded,
there's a lot
and they were looking for 10,000, so it just doesn't work.
Let's talk about Hinkley Point, because Caroline Lucas was there this week. And you're against nuclear, you're against fracking, you're against coal, you're against a barrage. What are you for?
The main thing that we need to do is to reduce our energy demand.
Yeah, but what are you for?
We're for reducing energy demand and increasing energy efficiency. In terms of actually the electricity we need to generate.
So does that mean what? Me not using my washing machine as much, or not driving a car, or not going on holiday? What do you mean?
Increasing the efficiency of all the products that people use is an important step, but also changing our community so we don't have to travel so much. Certainly less flying abroad for unnecessary business trips, so all of those things. But in terms of the electricity that we do want to generate, we want to see more renewables onshore and offshore. And as Merlin already pointed out, if you support fracking, if you support nuclear, then you're diverting investment energy, and we've already seen the loss of jobs with the Atlantic Array.
Is that true?
I mean, I do think that, and you see some of the conversations about coming up to the election and manifestos and the questions about renewables, I think there is a risk of us making a terrible strategic mistake here, because the rest of the world is going very rapidly towards renewables. So 70% of new electricity capacity in Europe last year was renewable. China has massive investment in renewable energy. And we here have actually a huge opportunity. We've got great resources, we've got great technology, we've got great companies, But you always need the backup, don't you? You always need the backup when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow.
I think the opportunity there is to have the European interconnector system. So somewhere in Europe at all times they're generating electricity, and we have to have better grids and better transferability to deal with the baseload question.
Germany, which has gone green and turned to renewable energy, in fact, its emissions have gone up vastly because they've had to use coal to fill the gaps.
At the moment, that's true, but over time, that will be resolved through the massive increase in renewable energy. It's very impressive, the energy transition they're having in Germany. And the important thing to note as well is a lot of it is owned by communities, so people who have the wind farms there are benefiting from them financially as well.
I think that is an important point, that we need, as we develop renewables, we need a system where we need to engage local people and local communities much more into that, and that is happening.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.